All right, all right, all right. Are we live? Yo, yo, yo. Tell me what you know. Welcome to the Sunshine Show. Woo! You guys, I'm extra excited today for multiple reasons. Not only is it my birthday week and we are celebrating with a bang, but I have one of my most favorite people in the house tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever in the world you may roam. Because that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Sunshine Show is worldwide. I have the one and only, the most amazing, the most fabulous, the most phenomenal, the most bowie of them all. I have Phil Simpkin of the Simpkin Project in the house. What's up, Phil?
How's it going? Wonderful to be here. Such a pleasure.
How are you doing today? What have you been up to?
You know what? Playing with my son a little bit and, taking care of a few things around the house. I've got a little bit of extra time suddenly.
Perfect. We love extra time.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Phil, for the very few people who may not know who you are, even though you are a legend in the reggae community, please give us a brief introduction.
Well, I'm in the Simpkin Project. And of course, I'm Phil Simpkin. And so there's a correlation there. I was in a band called Big Cat for years. And it kind of went away into a small hiatus. And a side project opened up with my friend Sean Taylor. He had some new studio equipment and was like, let's create some songs and do a project. And we both had this music teacher, and the music teacher, of course, would say, whatever you do when you name your band, don't call it the or project. And so the big joke after this recording was, it's the Simpkin Project. And we weren't supposed to play it anywhere live or anything. But that band, fell away, and we needed bands to open up for our favorite reggae artists at places like, back in the day it was Galaxy Theater and then Coach House. But the Simpkin Project became its own band in its own right. And so I did all the songwriting for the first album, and I did most of the instrumentation with a few friends that helped me out. And then the second album already we're writing more collectively. I do, a lot of the vocals, especially at that time, and then the writing. But now we're even more collective, and we have more songs from my good friend Sean Taylor, who's also our engineer and keyboard player. And so we've expanded into a proper project that needs its own name, but yet the word Simpkin is so strange and weird that it's stuck around, and you can find it really easily online. And so I apologize to all of the Simpkins in the world. We kind of stole that name, and so I do get strangely people from England and all over. They're like, "Hey, who are you, man? You stole the Simpkin name." But it's really a rare group, and so I probably am related to them somehow. And so I do like hearing from all Simpkins in the world. But
Awesome.
That's, I guess, a brief one.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. We kind of had a little chat before in the green room, and I was telling you how nervous I was because I'm just such a huge fan of yours. I've been listening. Rewind. I've been listening to your music for so long, and I literally can remember like where I was when I heard a particular song of yours. And I just thank you so much for bringing that joy, bringing that music, being such an inspiration to me and so many other people around the world.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and for the recognition. I hesitate to say how old some of that music really is now, and so it's been a really fascinating journey, and I still love playing music so much now, as much as ever before. And so it's been an amazing journey, and I have tons of my same friends still with me from the beginning of the ride. And so it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing. And I tell myself that every day, no matter what problems we may go through, life is such a blessing. And we always have to remember that. I want to check out the chat really quick. We do have some friends here in the chat with us. We got Gabriel Walker. What's up, Gabe? All the way over there on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. We got Paul Tar from Colorado. What's up, Paul? We got Carrie in the house from Scotland. How's it going, girl? Awesome. We got my beautiful secretary, Dawn McDaniel, down in the basement. basement. You guys already know how this works. What's up, Daniel Byness? Thank you for joining us. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions for myself or the one and only Phil Simpkin, drop them there in the comment section and we'll get to them as soon as possible. So this is my birthday week. Last night I did go see P-Funk, the rejuvenation, the what do we call the evolution of P-Funk, and it was quite interesting. I remember seeing them about 20 years ago. Me and my son used to watch them in Austin every year when they would come by. So if anybody gets to check out P-Funk, I do highly suggest it. It's a really fun time. All right, Phil, you ready for the questions?
Sure.
All right, cool. How would you describe the sound and style of Simpkin Project to someone who hasn't heard your music before?
Well, I appreciate that question. That's a fun one. We, like probably so many bands in California today that are playing reggae, there's, there's a couple different branches where it comes from. There's the Jamaican roots reggae, and then there's our friends Sublime, who are right next door to us. I was in a band called Big Cat playing in high school when Sublime was still around, and I thought they were a punk band. I thought they were ska and punk. I didn't know even they dabbled so much in reggae. And then they would really transform our scene. And so we're somewhere in between Jamaican roots reggae and maybe this amalgamation, of various kinds of Cali reggae, as they call it nowadays.
Sure,
but then I don't want to leave out, our friends down there in Texas and all the East Coast friends that we have. Giant Panda are good friends, and so many other brands of American reggae. I know Jamaicans would probably cringe to hear that term right there. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but just reggae,
All music is good music. Most of it, anyways.
Yeah, I'm like a cook. I'm sure they can't eat every kind of food, and they're probably picky with particular things. I'm really, I could be pretty particular, especially with reggae. I love Jamaican roots reggae. That's really the paradigm we follow. And I got to see that recent, Bob Marley movie, and I was kind of, being such a fan my whole life, and, waiting for the moment for, recognition. It was kind of like, oh no, is this going to be done well? So I was kind of trepidatious in that sense, but I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a kind of a serious take. And so if people thought of Bob and reggae as kind of being frivolous, this will give you more of like the serious mission oriented kind of Bob.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard mixed reviews. Some people thought it was amazing. Some people are like, oh, it didn't really capture the real Bob Marley and the fact that he cheated with so many other women and this and that, the other. And they were saying, well, I think his son or one of his family members actually produced it. So he's probably, trying to do an overall nice light. And if you want to go see the documentary, I'm sure there's many documentaries that you can see on Bob Marley to get the actual factual, the gritty details.
Yeah, and I saw, all those, growing up. And so it was nice, to hear that the family was backing it, and to hear that it was kind of, Rita's had a big, strong support of it and hand in it. But they really just marked the fact that, Bob was the most consequential Jamaican in his time, like even more than the person ruling it. Everywhere he went, people had to follow him. And those two great concerts. I think the thing I learned the most was that, so much of my favorite music that Bob ever wrote, that has so much positivity and joy, and it feels so Jamaican to me. And yet he's stuck in England, writing it like in gloomy skies and kind of a, exile. And so it really showed me, how much of that, he was able to conjure still, even in, rough circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. Rough sunshine, get it together. And listen, I had a long night last night. It was a long night. I slept all day. We're going to get through this. All right. So let's talk about this. What themes or messages do you aim to convey through your music? Are there any reoccurring motifs or topics that inspire your songwriting? I feel like there are.
Well, definitely. I mean, we're all about, self-empowerment. We're all about having people, think for themselves. And I guess there is a philosophical kind of orientation of, not taking things for face value and kind of looking deeper. and to follow, we're not trying to push any one particular spiritual path too much, but spirituality in general, and being open to, that deeper aspect of life that I think, everyone misses out on if they don't listen to. And so, yeah, obviously, living well with one another and trying to just see eye to eye. And again, that aspect of reasoning to be maybe the key for that for us, obviously, just compassion as well. But yeah, I feel like sometimes an issue with my music is that a lot of these themes come up in all the music and all the songs often. And I'm often writing similar tunes that way.
Okay, so one of my favorite songs is Harder, right? And I'm not going to sing it because, oh, Sonny should not be singing, but it's basically like Harder, the situation. It's like sing it to me, Phil. Come on.
It's so funny. It came up to me all falsetto. I think I was hearing like one of my favorite Jamaican reggae artists sing it. And so when I sing it now, I'm like, what on earth is that sound? But it was just simply harder, can't get much harder. Situation harder, it can't get much harder. Situation.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's such a good song.
And so when I'm normally singing it, I jump to falsetto, and so I'm the guy on top going harder. And so I'm going to spare you guys all that right now. But and then I jump back down, the situation. And so yeah, it's
powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah. I guess our music too, some people listen to my music and they're like, gosh, it's really like dark, and it's kind of like you're like always talking about, it doesn't sound like classic reggae themes, I guess, in that sense. We're dwelling on the tough stuff sometimes and trying to chant our way out of it. And so I think it could be a little repetitive for people too, but for us, that's where like the repetition and the meditation and the heart beating and the planet circling and everything just kind of, makes sense. And reggae really personifies that.
Well, I mean, if we just think about reggae music in general, like a lot of it's built off of rhythms, which is very repetitive, right? We're going to play the same bass line over and over and over. So there's no reason we can't do the same thing with the lyrics. And not only that, I feel like there's just people relate to it. Like the music, the lyrics you're writing. I love the harmonies, the falsetto. You guys have like this whole, I thought you guys were brothers. So now I'm glad I know you and Sean are not, but because like that's what it seems like. You guys are just so close, so tight, and like the harmonies and the vibe. And
well, that's incredible. I've known Sean since first grade, and it was kind of a surprise to me when he was so musical. Suddenly he could play keyboard out of nowhere when we were really young. I had one too, and then I knew we were going to be friends on even a deeper level. And we tried to make some music on like a little karaoke deck when we were about 12 or 13. And it was even, I had a brother that was listening to a lot of reggae. And so it was like reggae and punk and everything I was listening to at the same time kind of mixed together. And but yeah, I can't believe how long we've been doing music together, me and that man there. But people often ask us if we're brothers, and I've known his mom for so long. She's kind of like my, surrogate mother. And so yeah, we feel like brothers.
so what was the name of the first band that you guys put together? Because me and my best friend, we had a band when we were like 9, and the name of our band was LSM, and it was the name Lily Sunshine Marisa, the initials of our first names.
I'm trying to think of ours, and it was probably very reggae music oriented, and so probably based on like an Oswald song or something like Arise, or I'm trying to think of what it would be. But yeah, that's a really old project. My goodness.
Wow, that is so awesome. So you've known Sean forever. That is super cool. And are both of you professors?
Yeah, that's true. Which is kind of serendipitous and amazing that somehow we were able to pursue different paths, and they all were same, so similar and so close. And now he's teaching down the street from him, and I'm teaching just kind of the next college over, and so yeah, strange path. I don't think anyone would have, when we first started this band, that Sean would be a college professor. I think people to some degree figured I'd be doing something oriented in that direction, but and then we have Sergio, who's our Congo player, and he's also been going to school, and he's been teaching at Golden West College alongside Sean Taylor, and so we have 3 professors in the band. We're hoping he's going to also be promoted over there too as well, and so one half of us teaches, the other half is in private sector, and our drummer, he's had his own business for years with our good friend Eric Stewart, and Refined Rugs, and I'm trying to think of the various names that they've used, but so he's really been one of those guys that's been working super hard alongside as we've been doing music, and we get to see both sides of life and talk about public and private and all that,
Okay, so I want to guess what you teach.
Okay. You don't know.
Well, I don't know. It should be music, right? That would be my first thing, is I'm thinking music, but either music, philosophy, or political science. Did I get any of those right?
You did, and it's not the first one, although that would be fun, but I wonder how that would be in reality.
So wait, which one was it? Music?
Philosophy?
You are a philosopher?
Yeah.
So what came first?
Here,
what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh my goodness, I feel like that's the question that makes people run away from philosophy or something, right? They're like, oh my goodness. I had my son come up to me, 7 years old, and he was 6 at the time. He's like, Dad, the proto chicken comes before the proto egg. And I'm like, oh my goodness, son, this is so fascinating. But no, my name is Phil, and there was this subject always at community college called Phil, and I made sure never to take it because I didn't want to be Phil in a Phil class. I thought that was so ridiculous. And so I love history, I love culture, and so I took tons of history courses, and finally one of the last ones was history of ancient philosophy. And I don't know why learning about Socrates never sounded appealing to me, but it never did. And then when I was sitting in that class, like day 1, I was like, oh my gosh, the universe knew, they found my name and they knew my calling here. And so I've been a philosopher ever since that day. Phil the philosopher. It's been so strange, but then it also reified everything I knew about reggae music, everything that I knew about religion and spirituality growing up, and really helped me tie a lot of those threads together and put things into use. And so I love it. I fell into love with that field, and so I do that. I also teach religious studies.
Okay.
And so I got a degree in both. My good friend Sean Taylor, on the other hand, do you want to take a guess what he does, or did I already spill the beans on that?
You haven't yet. So music?
He would also be so good at that too, but no.
Okay, wait. Okay, give me two. Okay, okay. Music, no. Okay, so history, mathematics.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, that's him right on the. A lot of people say music and math are so related, but I was never that good at it. But Sean, he's an amazing mathematician.
Am I psychic? Do I have ESP? I know all of you think that I actually looked this up. I did not know Phil was a philosopher, and did not know Sean was a mathematician. So if anybody needs some psychic readings, just go ahead and get message Dawn. Okay, it's only $19.99 per minute.
You're going right.
So how do you juggle your career with your musical lifestyle? Because it can't be easy.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy. And so if any of my fans are out there, they've been watching a lot, they're like, yeah, man, like, why don't you play more music? And because I haven't been doing a lot of music lately. We've had about a year or so where we haven't played a show. And so it's been one of the longest ones I remember. And so we're going to play some more music, but that'll take us away from recording. And so what we've been doing is sitting on an album since before the pandemic. And so we were with VP Records. Our first time we ever signed with a label and did work with a label was our last album. And we tried it out. It was a learning experience, to say the least. There's a lot that could be said there. And we really we learned a lot. It was really incredible, and in the end, they were as supportive as you could ever want. On the other hand, we had to separate ourselves and go our own way, and so we're back to doing an independent album. And so we've been trying not to get too lost by live performances to where we forget about the studio, and
Okay.
we're just like a few mixing sessions away from hopefully having this thing done, and then we'll be back at it playing some more tunes.
Okay. I'm going to get right back to that. We got Jason in the house. We got Jennifer in the house. Steven, Tommy fam, Rachel. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us. I appreciate you guys. You could be anywhere in the world. You're here with me and Phil. And we are not only talking philosophy, but we are talking all things Simpkin's project today. If you guys don't know, you're about to find out. Because for me, I feel like y'all are one of the most highly underrated bands of like why are you guys not like opening headlining like every single like reggae festival out there? Like you guys are like so like I'm so confused as to like what is going on, but I get it. So there's a lot of time in the studio. You guys have your own lives, you have your own jobs. I mean, this isn't like the only thing that you're working on, but for me, it's
Yeah, I'm so
everything.
sorry. I hate that we don't do more. I hate the fact that we had to say no to a lot of like big tours with major bands, and they're like, quit your job and come run with us, and that would be so nice. And this was before I had like a big kind of full-time gig too, and it just was it was such a hard lifestyle on the road for us to juggle, especially people with their own businesses and things. And so we've never just been able to put that together the road. That's been the hardest part of the equation. I think even with VP, if we would have been on the road hitting the pavement more, then things would have worked out really well, and we may have done a second album with them. But it was just people had babies. Life started just really and I don't think there's a big desire for people to live like we've seen a lot of our friends who are really, they've earned it. If you've seen how a lot of our friends who had to live on the road, they've earned it. And so
I
that
feel
side of it.
you have earned it just from like being the legendary, iconic Phil Simpkin of the Simpkin Project. Okay, we're here for it. We are here for it. We don't feel like you need to get on the road. You ain't got to do nothing. Just get up on the stage, play a couple.
We will. We do have one show now finally on the calendar, and so I was really pushing away against that too until we were like right at this finish line. But it's not until October. But we're gonna play with a local group called Lake Dub. They've been doing a lot of great work all around town,
Love
and
Lake
so
Dub.
yeah, and so we'll be doing just a Deep Piazza show in Long Beach with those guys, and that's right around the corner from our backyard. So.
Very nice. Let's check out this chat. Let's see. We got Luke Caldwell in the house. Tommy Fam says, I remember seeing Simpkin Project at Cali Roots on the OG stage and instantly fell in love. How do you not fall in love with this beautiful man and his beautiful music? We got Scully Smith in the house. He says, large up from North Carolina. We got Ralphie in the house.
Ralphie.
Oh, he says,
Our bass player right there, Ralph Arenas. He's a producer in his own right, and we'll be dubbing one of our first singles on the album. And so, Ralphie, thanks for joining in.
Wait, that's your bass player?
Yeah. He was actually, to tell you the truth, Ralphie's got a greater story than that. He's played his own music in many projects, but when he joined our band originally, he was a guitar player, backup singer. And then he had to run and do some music, and he had to, actually, he moved jobs and had to leave state. And now he came back, and there was a bass player opening, and he joined in another capacity. And so Ralphie's very versatile. And
sorry, Ralphie, you've been booted to the bass. So I'm just joking. So for my birthday, I want to give a huge shout out to Ampeg. I received this SGTDI preamp box. I'm very excited to use it. Love you, Ampeg.
All you bass players out there love that.
I too, Ralphie, am a bass player. I used to play too, but that was my very first instrument. Let's see, Stephen Colburn. What up, dude? Drop it. We got Jennifer Isaacs. Hey, Phil, love from your big sister. Oh, we got the whole fam bam here in the house.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, this might be the only time to ask Phil because I haven't seen him on many podcasts. So get the questions there, and let's ask him. Let's put him on the hot seat.
Yeah, that's my sis. And I was just talking. My son was asking me a question there. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. Okay, let's see. Are we ready for the next question?
Sure.
All right. Can you walk us through your creative process when writing and recording music with the band? Do you have any specific rituals or routines?
Definitely nothing specific in that sense. We always like to say that every song is its own animal, and each one has its own origin story. And so a lot of times, especially early on, I would come with lyrics. I'd come with the progression, but that's usually where I try to stop now. I would often come with the bass line. I'd come with all these particular parts, but now I want to get other players involved, and so I make sure to kind of only come with the blueprint, and I try
Okay.
not to get too married to things. Like back in the old days, you can get married to stuff, and you fall in love with this little part and this nuance, and so you try to really learn how to work with others more and more, and so there's a whole bunch of songs now where I'm only playing a few things too, because Sean is taking over for most of the singing, and so he's got a couple really excellent songs on this new album, and so I know those will be the ones I'll probably be listening to for the longest from this next batch. But really, all these tunes are very layered, and Sean always puts so much love into the recordings. So we're really excited to share the new music.
We are excited for it. All right, let's see. Rachel says, what do you use for that amazing beard, Phil? The world needs to know.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many beard product gifts I have just sitting unused at my house, and so it's good old fashioned nothing.
Wait,
I will
really?
tell you.
No juices, no like berry juices or
I just wash it
oils?
and condition it like the hair, and that's all. And it'd be so weird to have like something in there where I feel like you're like, I don't know. It'd be
I
weird.
feel like you're hiding things in there. I feel like you might have like little like presents hiding in your beard right now.
I definitely have to like look before I come on a podcast or something like this, right? Or if I'm eating nachos or something like a baseball game, it'd probably be a bad idea. But yeah, it's you live a different lifestyle. It comes with its pros and cons.
I used to make beard oil and mustache wax many, many moons ago. So yeah, I love me a good beard too. We got Corey Trevor in the house, Simpkin Project legend. Shout out HDP Records.
Awesome. Yes, that's Hughes Drive Productions. And right now, Hughes Drive Production is still the name, and it's no longer on Hughes Drive anymore. And so my friend Sean had a bit of a choice to make there. Do I change the name now, or what do I do? And so he thought about it for a while. I'm pretty sure it's still HDP, and you can find him that way on Instagram. But he also does other bands besides our own. And so Sean is a great engineer. He is a gear nerd, as you can say, and he knows everything about boutique analog equipment and interfacing with digital equipment, and so he'll talk that all day long.
I want to say something so inappropriate, and I feel since we're not streaming on Bass Players United where we normally do, and I have to watch my mouth, and I'm just streaming on my platform, I can actually say this. So, Dawn, can I get the go ahead from you down there? Okay, yes. So when it said HDP, I was all Huge Dick Productions. We're gonna edit that out.
I would say that it personifies the greatness, at least, and so Sean is he does put in that love. He takes that extra time that I think other people don't, and so.
Okay, let's see. Nathan Morris says that you're hiding wisdom in that beard.
What's up, Nathan?
Rachel says, I just want to put bells in it and maybe some glitter.
I would be an excellent hippie. All the bells in there or something.
Okay, let me see. I missed this question from Tommy Pham. Love you, Tommy. What's your favorite philosophy quote that stands out the most?
I would probably go to Plato, which might sound very stereotypical to people. But in the Republic, just after the allegory of the cave, he says something that the true task of philosophy is not um, to put in sight to eyes that are blind, that have no sight at all, but it's simply to change the direction of the eyes, which are already working really well, and just to turn them to greater things. And so it's always really been inspiring to me. I feel that it's inspired me as a teacher too, that I even use the word teacher, and it's kind of a bad term because it implies like you are empty and I give you and I fill you up with knowledge. But I like being more like a coach, which I think that quote resembles. That what I'm trying to do is I'm assuming that you have so much knowledge and wisdom in there, and my job is the smallest little the least amount that I can to unpack that potential. And so that's really, so more of a coach than a teacher in that sense, if I'm doing my job well.
That is Professor Simpkins to you. Okay. Let's see. We got Gabby Martinez in the house. Oh my God, we love your music. We've seen you 3 times. Can't wait for some more shows. We were
Thank you,
just talking about
Gabby.
that, Gabby.
Appreciate you, Gabby. Thank you.
Let's see. Daniel Bayanez. What's up, Daniel? What aspects of philosophy do you use when you approach a difficult section of music?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if it's anything specific, with music. With music, what's so nice is that it's probably more akin to more like a meditative state. And so where you are in that really strange middle world between trying to listen to the others around you, and but also to understand what you're doing. And so
Okay.
you're trying to meditate and to also be aware of what's outside of you simultaneously. And so listening and being present in that sense. And so maybe more akin philosophically than to maybe meditation, which would be akin to anything from Buddhist and every other spiritual tradition. And so I appreciate the question.
Um, really, excuse me, guys. What's up, Andres Lopez? Coach Phil.
Yeah, Andres.
We got Andy all the way from Canada. What's up, Andy? Thank you for joining us. Steven
Awesome.
says, dude, that was said so well. And I was
Oh,
going to
thank
say
you.
something and I completely lost my train of thought, but that's okay. Um, oh my God, I totally interrupted myself, and that's okay. You're so eloquent in all of your ways.
Oh, I get a lot of practice nowadays. And so
Oh, this is what I was going to ask you. So you teach religious studies. So is that, you were talking about Buddhists? Do you do all kind of like religious studies? Like what, or is there like a particular religion that?
So
Sorry, go
what we
ahead.
are trying to do is do an academic take on it. There's a theological take that you can get from any institution or church that you go to.
Sure.
And so this is we're somehow trying to stand outside, and so we call it an outsider look. But
Okay.
there's proper ways of doing that, and trying to you know uh, not to judge others from like within a particular tradition, but to kind of look at all traditions together.
Sure.
And so in
Okay.
that sense, it does get a little bit confusing. It's different from what I do in philosophy, where in philosophy, you're allowed to kind of judge more. You're kind of saying, I like this, I don't like this, that's done well, that's not done well. Where in religious studies, it's a social science. And so I'm being more descriptive. I'm not evaluating. I'm just really trying to present. And so a different lens, I use, frameworks and try to understand things in that way. And so different in that sense, but we do have to cover uh, world religion. And so it gives me the special task of having to know kind of every language in the world and something about every culture in the world, which I don't, of course, which is really impossible, but fascinating. And so I know more than probably I should about, all these niche traditions and thinkers all over the world. And I love it. Somehow I still want more.
So you may not know this. A lot of you at home may not know this either. I actually graduated with 2 degrees, one in political science one in sociology, and then I went back for my master's in sociology. But my first major was criminology. I changed it multiple times. Criminology, then fashion design, and then I ended up in like the sociology, political science world because I wanted to be a lawyer, an environmental lawyer,
Wow.
was what I wanted to do. But here I am doing podcasts and making music out in Santa Cruz.
It's amazing how life works out.
It really is. It's a blessing, just like we were talking earlier. It's truly a blessing. We got Steven Diaz in the chat on YouTube. Any new concepts explored on the new album? I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, awesome. Steven, thanks for the question and for looking forward to the album. Um, we have been sitting with these songs trying to think if we could put them in a special order. We still don't have exactly the title settled yet either. And so there's a lot of fun to still be had there. I know we have maybe a little more romance in this than usual. And so Sean has a really deep song. He's has a fiance and they're going to be married, you know, shortly, I'm sure. And so there's those themes that I think maybe a little stronger than normal, but there's also the classic themes like you were saying that I feel like many times if you like the last Simpkin, you're gonna love this one. I feel like, and so
we love all the Simpkin, all of it.
I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. It was
Huge
amazing.
fan. So I remember the first time I started listening to you guys, it was probably about, I would say 13, 14 years ago. I had just moved to Santa Cruz. I was playing with a band out of Santa Ana. And there was just something, like I said, it's just something about the way you guys aren't trying to like be like anybody else. You're just yourself. And I think that's what really set you guys apart from any other reggae, Cali reggae, whatever artists that I had heard of, was that you the like I was saying, the harmonies, the everything that you were doing. It's just there's nobody else like you guys.
I appreciate that so much. I feel like we work hard. No, we don't really work hard. We aren't really looking at the same models as a lot of the other bands, I don't think. And so in that sense, I think it does show up in the music, um, and so I'm so kind of touched that you see us standing out that way, because sometimes I don't know if it's just lost and kind of a sea of so many different styles and sounds, but we are always trying to emulate more of those Jamaican trio reggae bands. We also are inspired by so much classic rock, by so much rock music. Sean Taylor, you know, my partner in crime, he came to reggae through us. I mean, I listened to lots of reggae even as a kid with him. So not that he wasn't exposed to a lot, but he was in a rock band. He was playing things that sounded like Faith No More. Like, you know, he had an incredible range and voice. And so in that sense, we have this really cool mix too, where I almost feel like it's almost indie rock, it's almost classic rock, and, you know, Jamaican paradigms.
Okay, so we talked about my first favorite song. So another one that I really, which is harder. The other one I really, really love is If You Really Want It. If you
Yes.
really, really want it. Da-na-na-na-na.
Yes.
What was your, like, what's the story behind the song? Is there a story or was it just like great lyrics?
You know what? That the piano part that you hear on there, I think, was the thing that really started inspiring it. And the lyrics just came so naturally, I think, with the chorus. And then we were just like, all right, this is going to be about, you know, perseverance, but also enjoying yourself. And I've had so many friends tell me that they're in the middle of some situation and those lyrics just pop in their head and they have to, you know, persevere in whatever they're doing. And so I wish there was more of a story I could remember, but I just remember that piano
Okay,
line.
as soon as you said situation, harder, it gets so harder. The situation, your other song just popped into my head as soon as you said that.
Yes, and those themes will start, you know, adding on top of each other there, and you can start chasing them. Like when I remember dreams, it's kind of like that. I just start remembering one and another, and so.
All right. Favorite conspiracy theory. Do you have one? Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. If you do, I want to know about it.
Well, I kind of get grief, I think, by a lot of my members of the band by being not as much of a conspiracy theorist as others. Since I'm in academics, I'm always like an evidence-oriented person, and so I like to see more evidence and less. And on the other hand, I understand that we don't have evidence for everything too, and
Okay,
we
so what about aliens? How do you feel about aliens, Phil?
aliens. I hold it open that they're out there, but so far I have not been convinced. I know that even Congress has been, investigating and things, but I hold it open. I definitely do. I think that um, the whole idea that the government's obviously has stuff they can't tell us about. I believe that. That's obviously true. And so, but I'm not sure if that's one we're so scared about as much as
What
maybe
about the
many other things.
pyramids? What about the pyramids? Were they built by aliens?
No, I'm not an ancient alien conspiracy theorist. I'm so dedicated to culture that I hate to take any credit away from humans. And
Oh,
so I'm looking for the answers in human beings.
Phil the philosopher, everybody, right here. We
Not
got
as
Jason.
fun as other answers, but
No. We honesty is always the best policy. Is that a saying? I feel like it is. I don't know. If not, I just made it up right now. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's see. We got Jason Perry in the house of the Late and Bake Show. What's up, Jason? Thank you for hanging out with us. Andy says aliens are everywhere in Canada. Andy, please tell us, where can we find the aliens in Canada? And Nathan says maybe there's a tiny alien in the beard and whispering arm.
That's just my little friend.
It's totally gonna he's just gonna pop out and start. He's singing the falsetto there. I love that. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, drop them there in the chat. We've been going strong for about 45 minutes. We got about 20 more left. I'm really excited. I'm having such a good time, you guys. It is my birthday week. This is my birthday celebration, and I could not think of any way better to celebrate it than right here with you guys and my number one favorite artist of all time, Phil Simpkin of the Simpkin Project. Don says Sunshine is an alien. Well, he would know because I have him trapped down in the basement and he's not going nowhere. I have the key.
That's hilarious.
You know how many people think that is true? That is the funniest thing ever. I don't have a basement, you guys. I'm in Santa Cruz, okay? All right, cool. Next question. Let's see. What's been the most memorable moment or milestone in your journey with Simpkin Project so far?
Oh my goodness. It's a good question. I felt like there was a few milestones when we would have a few shows for those first few videos. We had all of our friends and families coming to these venues, and they would just make the walls almost fall. And I just felt like, my gosh, what else could you want? And then for our last album, we got to play a few really large festival shows. I remember playing the Pacific Amphitheater a few times, feeling really blessed on those. We got to play Doheny racetracks with Iration. That was one of the bigger crowds we ever played in front of. Another one in, I think it was Ocean Beach down there. It was an Oktoberfest. It was just, wall to wall. Just, and so those are great moments. The live moments have been so great, but also, the achievement of the songs that we get to create. I always feel like I have to get them off my chest. I have to, get these songs out. And so in that sense, I always feel like maybe other people don't get to see it as much, but I always feel that sense of achievement just getting the tunes out. And yeah.
Well, so what I'm getting from this so far is that it is, and I love this too, because you're not so focused on oh, I got to be on stage and I got to make this big old make people see me and do whatever. You want to be in the studio and actually leave your legacy behind with all these amazing songs that you're writing. So the stage is not as important.
Yeah, I mean, you were calling me beautiful earlier, and I don't think people are coming to the stage to see this beautiful guy as much as listen to the tunes maybe and hear the voice. And so, but we are a spectacle. It is something to look at. And so me and Taylor, we're pretty conspicuous dudes, and the rest of the band too. We got everyone. They always laugh about the fact that we're so conspicuous and they seem to be invisible oftentimes to people, but they definitely are not. I can't do this band without the the rest of my members, especially Sean Kennedy, my drummer, who was kind of the co-conspirator that really said, "Hey, let's make this a band, a real band," and has pushed us in so many directions. And then Ralph coming back. We have as our guitar player momentarily right now too. We have Conquer Spliff from Spliff Vision, and that's a crew around San Pedro. He also plays in a number of other projects, and so he's an amazing musician in his own right. And so I don't want to forget any of those fellas right there. I also didn't want to forget to say that we did do some music recently that we put out, actually really recently. We did music with Eureka Sound, and they're doing music with Ellie Mack, and they're doing lots of music with other incredible reggae artists. They're on a bunch of tours, and so we just did a song with them that's out right now.
And where can we find that, Phil?
You know what? That one you could find at all outlets, but I'm trying
Don, I'm gonna tell Don down in the basement. You have one job. Can you please post the link in the comment? He's looking at me. He's like, I will find the link and I will post it there in the comments. Everybody, make sure and go check it out. I'm gonna look at it right now while we're talking.
It's Eureka Sound. The song is Seeker. And it's really an incredible tune. They really outdid themselves, and they asked us to join on that one. And so that was really special. The other really cool project we did was with this band from Brazil that kind of, just knocked on our door kind of out of nowhere, fans from down there. And they said, "Hey, we would love to redo your song, Everything You Want." And so they redid it in Portuguese.
No, stop it. Did they really?
Yeah. And so they put it out, and we have this really cool video out right now where I'm singing half of it in English and they're doing the other half in Portuguese. And so the song is called, and I'm gonna butcher this, but Pode Conseguir. And so I want to put the R in there, but I guess they don't in the Portuguese, but it's and so it's something equivalent to Everything You Want. But the band is called Mensana, which I think is like peaceful mind, something equivalent to that. But they are really great up and coming band. I can't say enough about all the work they've been doing recently. They've been putting out all this content down there in Brazil. And so really extra special to be a part of that. But again, too, I know we don't listen to a lot of music that's not English. And so, it's they've been doing great. I think our Spotify account like doubled. And so just we're getting closer and closer to hopefully hitting something like 90,000 listeners. And so I'm sure we could get it up there if we pushed it. But of course, that's our other probably problem why you don't see us in more places, that we don't really push full time.
We're pushing it right now, Phil.
I appreciate so much. Yeah, this is gonna be better timing. We also did a song with Nathan from Ayaterra, and that's going to be on this new album. And he's now, he started a new project. He's in Aurora Wave. Yeah. A few of the other members are joining Nick Safakis doing his music. Uh-huh. And so blessings on all those musical endeavors from our brothers. And so there's lots of music going on. I like you said, I don't know how I do it with so much going on, but we plan to do a lot more. And so I hope we get a show even before the end of the summer.
So Jason Perry, host of the Late and Bake Show, Wake and Bake, Ross Delegato in the house. He says, Seeker is in my everyday rotation. So Jason has a show that he plays every day on Facebook. If you guys are not already following the Late and Bake Show, make sure to do it today. Amazing.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, that song is incredible. And really, I wish we could take more credit for the instrumentation, but they did all that. On the other hand, our vocals were done by Sean Taylor again in that studio. And so we did our best to kind of match the vibe and give them something that was comparable. And then we got together and did a video. So there's a video for that as well. I keep on forgetting how much, work gets done, and you just, just pushing through, you're pushing forward. And Gotta
We're
promote.
just sitting here waiting for it to come out. Wait, did the video come out already, or are we still waiting for
It
that?
has. So there's a video for Seeker. There's a video for Everything You Want, or you only find it by Pode Conseguir, and which of course is butchered Portuguese. What was fascinating though is that they actually I think their paradigm is much more kind of akin to like our Cali reggae scene, if you kind of know what I mean. It's more sublime, I guess I should say, kind of rooted, it seems like. But they have other paradigms of reggae down in Brazil, and so it has a much more Brazilian feel. And so when they took the song, they put it into a little bit of a different feel. And so my lyrics didn't quite work out so well, but then when they put the Portuguese in there, it's like smooth and perfect. And so it really is so interesting to hear it. And then, of course, when they gave us the lyrics in Portuguese, we're like, let's put this in the computer and see what it says in English again. And it was like a whole new song. And so it was really fascinating the way that it would translate and retranslate back.
Did you try to sing it in Portuguese?
No, I wouldn't want to do that to Portuguese or my Brazilians down there. I was trying to talk when it came out with a lot of people online using translator and stuff, and I hope I did well and didn't offend people. Or
all we can do is what we can do, right? That's all we can do.
They were really nice. They the video that they had, their promotion down there was a ton of Brazilian artists listening to the song and singing along. And so they have some really cool promotion too. It's I can't say enough about Mensana right now. They're really incredible.
Awesome. All right, next question. Gabby Martinez, all the way at YouTube. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you all for hanging out. What's your favorite song to perform, Phil?
Oh, interesting. It does change, I think, when I'm playing, depending on the era and the time. But and so I'm sure there's probably one of our newer ones. The last time we're out and playing around, but I always love just a good chorus that everyone can sing with me. And so if we do, here you go, If You Really Want It, or Everything You Want, these songs which are too close to each other in name and probably theme, but those are the really easy go-tos where people sing right along, and half my band is so tired of playing them, they're like, please no, not again. And I'm like, well, I get to sing with more people here. And so that's the other aspect, is it's such a communal experience to play music that it feels like you're a one of a kind experience with all these people, and so you want to make them sing and dance as much as possible.
And how we were talking about like repetition earlier, just like with Jamaican rhythms, I feel like the same with lyrics. Like if you can get your crowd singing a song and they know the lyrics, and like you repeat some stuff, like and then it's ingrained, because then you start relating it to something like in your life, and like then they become personal lyrics, like everything you want, everything you need, and like you can get anything you want, anything you need, but you just gotta actually like not manifest it, but like really work on it, right? It's possible, but you got to put in the work to do it. So thank you, Phil the philosopher, for reminding us all that.
Yeah, I mean, our formula is very almost stereotypical that way. We would like it for a stranger to be like, what is this song? They hear the chorus the first time, they've never heard it. By the third chorus, they're singing it. And so and for some people that's kind of boring, but for us, again, it's we're not trying to recreate the wheel here or anything. And so we're just trying to enjoy music as it was given to us, and putting our own stamp on it, but not trying to ruin it on the way.
There is no other Simpkin project, okay? There is no other Simpkin project. You guys are so unique and so amazing. And I'm telling you, and I'll say it again because it's my birthday and I can say, I can do that. That's why I feel like you have stood out for so many years to me as far as like reggae artists or just artists in general, because you are just so unique, so different, and it's just fucking badass. Look at me cussing because I'm not on Bass Players United today. Motherfuckers, no. Next question. By the bassist. We love you, bass player Ralphie Reggae. Is it Ralph or Ralphie? Ralphie.
He goes by Raffi Reggae.
Raffi. All right, Raffi. What's your favorite song on the new album, Phil?
My favorite song right now, of course, that changes too because it's been like multiple years here. But are definitely the ones saying by my good friend Sean. He's got the new uh, "Everything You Want." It's called "Let It Go," and so it's such a again simple like lyric and word and title that we're almost embarrassed by how simple it is. On the other hand, it's going to be the one that people are going to be able to sing to right away. And Sean's got an incredible voice that's he's showing off now in new ways. And for our music at least, he's always had an incredible voice and did on tons of different kinds of music. But getting his own, proper voice and leading element besides in the past he's had a couple too, but we're going to keep that going, and so his repertoire is building. And right now, that one's one of my favorite ones. But I can't wait to hear the new dub that Ralph is going to be doing for us. And so we're going to be putting out dubs along with the music.
So I did, excuse me, I did notice that while I was like listening to every single tune on YouTube that you guys have today, getting ready for this show. It only took me 5 minutes to get ready. I think I'm so funny today. So I did notice you guys do have like a lot of dub remixes, which is really cool because I didn't even know that because I'm so stuck in 2015. I don't know what year it is, you know what I mean? But I didn't even know that you like that's really cool because it is a way to evolve, get more people to listen to your music, reuse some stuff, remix. It's genius.
We did the first album that way, and again, it was an experimentation in Sean Taylor's gear. And so we were like, all right, let's do dubs too, and just to use more of the gear and get another mix going. And it was, I think, like a Halloween time, and we were mixing with, the dub echo sounds and scaring ourselves, and it was so cool. So we've always been huge fans of, old, dub reggae. And so we love to keep that alive now. We know it's niche and, it's only a small percentage of people that are really listening to the old dub music now. But we love it. I can't believe CDs are gone. We're not going to put out a CD again. And so we're just going to put out a record.
You're not allowed to say that.
I'm sorry about that. But we are going to be putting out vinyl, but also, you're just selling digitally now. So it's so strange. But
it is.
I'm glad
so
the record
tell me
is somehow.
though. So no CDs. You no. I know I keep interrupting you, but so you will no longer be releasing CDs.
We're deciding that for the new one. We're like, my gosh, we'll just put out records, and so we hope to have vinyl for people. And otherwise, people are just listening to things, digitally now, and so it's so amazing to see music evolve all the way back to an older medium where records have not, gone anywhere. And so.
When does the cassette tape come back?
I've been here, and I have a nephew-in-law, I guess what we can call him. He loves it. He claims he loves the sound on a cassette like no other sound, and so I guess a lot of indie bands are doing it. Maybe we'll do a nostalgic run.
What is your favorite all-time vinyl or album that you own?
Oh my goodness, I don't own as many as I like.
Okay. What about but even if you don't own it, do you have one that you've heard that like is your favorite of all time ever?
I mean, most definitely. I mean, I'm
I can share mine.
Classic reggae or
okay,
classic rock, because I love like Dark Side of the Moon and like the White Album from the Beatles and things like that. But I also one of my favorite listens of all time was Oswald's A New Chapter of Dub.
Okay.
And so it's a really incredible dub album. And I would listen to that along with another Oswald album. And then we'd listen to Dark Side of the Moon. And it was just amazing, back to back. Kaya, Bob Marley's Kaya's that whole album. That thing has put me in another planet.
I love me a good soundtrack too. Have you heard the Forrest Gump soundtrack?
Yeah. Yeah, great piano music.
Completely different. But like if you put it on from beginning to end, it's like crazy. Like An American Hustle, that's another really good soundtrack to listen to. I am very torn. I do like me a good soundtrack.
When I was a youngster, I used to love the Last of the Mohicans soundtrack. That thing was my mini theme song.
We got Luke Caldwell in the house, Dubmonger. So good.
Yeah, Dubmonger and Warmonger. That's kind of an interesting story. We our good friend was, I guess, having people listen to our music, or maybe they found it on their own. But Justin Gaethje, and I'm probably not saying that right. He's a great MMA fighter, and he used our music and decided to walk out to it.
Stop.
Yeah, he's done it now
cool.
twice. To some degree, like, it's kind of the opposite of what the song is saying. but on the other hand, it's promoting him, it's promoting us, and those guys, they are some of the most interesting characters, the MMA fighters, because though they're practicing this very violent, overt, sport, when they're not in that mode, they want to be relaxed. They want to be really chill. They're very friendly, calm. And so it's really interesting. We've had a few friends that have been MMA fighters or in that community, and they're about physical fitness and, learning the martial arts styles. And so it really is fascinating. And so I'm glad when they volunteer and they're saying, okay, we can do it like this, rather than hopefully the character I'm painting in that song. But anyways, that was really incredible. It went out to millions. And so that song also really went big. Not that long ago. Unfortunately, he didn't win either fight, but they were very consequential.
Hey, he still got paid, I'm sure, for that fight.
I hope so. He's I felt bad at the end because he went down and the camera goes away. I'm like, what happened? But,
and then the song comes, and then the song starts playing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyways, that was pretty wild. That kind of came out of the blue, and so kind of special for us.
Do you have a favorite wrestler? Did you ever used to watch wrestling back in the day?
Oh my goodness, I did. If you're in the 80s, you couldn't get out of there without loving, the wrestling, right? And so I liked the guy that was jumping in the trees. I forget his name.
Wait, the guy.
He was the jungle guy, and of course,
Jake the Snake. Was it Jake the Snake?
I can't remember now.
Anybody who in the comments, I don't know who's watching right now, Facebook, YouTube, if you are a wrestling fan. Or Don, I don't know, you're stretching down there. I see you in the basement. So my favorite, obviously, Macho Man, right? I always thought my dad looked so much like him.
So cool, yeah. That was, I think, one of my favorites too.
It was his 11th year anniversary of his death, just this past year. But also the Bushwhackers. They would come out. The two brothers, the Bushwhackers. That was my favorite. Don't remember. It was Luke and something, and it was WWF at the time before they had to like change over or whatever.
That's right.
So I don't know. I thought maybe you had a favorite wrestler too.
Oh my goodness. I was the 80s for sure,
All right, guys, you're hanging out with Sunny C and Phil Simpkin of the Simpkin Projects. We're going to start wrapping this up in like 3 minutes. So if you guys have any last minute questions, comments, suggestions, drop them there in the comments section. Oh, here we go. Elias, when's the next show? Hold on. When's the next show? And can you guys do at least 3 this summer locally?
Elias, what's up, brother? It's so great to hear from you. I want to get a show this summer for sure. But the only one I could tell you about right now is that October 12th, D Piazzas with Lake Dub. And so, we haven't played there for quite a while. I still think one of our good friends is the owner there. And so D Piazzas, Saturday, October 12th.
Awesome. All right, last question of the evening. What advice would you give to aspiring musicians who are trying to find their own voice and make their mark in the industry?
It's so ever evolving. It would be hard to say that I had some advice that I knew would be helpful to you at all times, especially moving forward. But my advice to even students and things that ask me what to do in the future is you just have to follow your heart and do what you love. You have to do what makes you happy. And so we did have a lot of aspirations to be here or there musically, or to be doing something, to be on this tour or something. But now our goal is to make ourselves happy. And to keep on getting that music out, because again, it's like music therapy for me, especially, to get the ideas out so greater ideas can come about. And so Yeah, in that sense, you follow your heart, do what you love and authentically, and that way, don't try to buy into anyone else's game, or try to fit into anyone else's box. Try to find that box that you fit into. A lot of great singers, right? You're forced to sing in these tones all the time. When you become a really good songwriter, you know how to write for your voice. And so, yeah, it'll take a lifetime to do that, of course, but learn how to start swimming with the stream and not against it. These are just
What
platitudes.
what's that one song? Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop believing.
Can you sing that for us, Phil?
You know what? I don't know. Is that one of my songs? I all I could think of
No,
was
I feel like it's Don't Stop
it,
Believing.
that's only what I could think of at the
Dun, dun, dun,
time.
dun, 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 dun. I think it's Chicago.
It's one of those classic legacy bands. No, ours is If You Really Want It, I Know You Can Get It. And
If you
so,
really, really want it. Dun, 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 dun.
yes, and so we're stereotypical. Sometimes one of my band members will come up. They're like, "Oh yeah, let me guess your next lyrics. Keep on going, do better, push harder, like all these things." And in many ways, yeah, you have to tell yourself that. A lot of our songs too, we sound like we're perfect people preaching at a bunch of people that need this advice, and we're perfect. And I just want to remind people, it's never that way. These are always notes to self. And so these messages are ones I need to hear as much as anybody else. And so I try to give myself mantras.
Do you have a mantra that you wake up to or practice every day in particular?
I can't say that I do. If I was disciplined, it would be fun to try to do like the Jesus prayer, like consistently, or to do one of those Eastern chants very consistently. But I'm a musician, and so musical melodies get in the way all the time. And so even when I would do meditation retreats with my philosophy community, I'm such a music oriented person that I'd often have to like fight away, like, ooh, this new melody's coming to my mind. Oh, I should write that down. I should. And so yeah, I everyone, if you know about meditation, it's definitely a challenge, a good challenge, but a practice, a discipline.
A practice. So me and my old boss, when I used to live in Austin, I worked at the food bank, the capital area food bank out there. And our little mantra was little by little, day by day, that's the way we play the game. Because it's just like you just have to take it day by day, minute by minute, second by second. And like life is going to be hard and there's going to be challenges, but you just always have to remember, no matter what, we are blessed. And that's my mantra, mamma mia. But that was what we'd always say, little by little, day by day, that's the way we play the game. And I think it's just important to always remember that life is going to be hard. There's always going to be challenges, but you have to remember, if we woke up today, we are blessed, and we just have to find the good things in all of the chaos that's surrounding us, I think.
Yeah, I've been, my son is 7 years old, and so I've been trying to think of, what to teach, and not to be too preachy, and how to get right to the point. And there is a Confucian kind of version of the golden rule that I think is kind of beautiful. And he says, he goes with like the negative one that says, don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to yourself. And I think that's really wise. It's not really telling you to go, necessarily do anything that might go wrong unintentionally. On the other hand, he says the things you like in others, find within yourself. And so I keep trying to push that onto my son is, don't do to others what you don't want done unto you. And the things you like in others, find within yourself.
I love that. Okay, to wrap up today's interview, I have had such a good time with you, Phil. I cannot, this was like, it's a dream come true, really. I have looked up for you for so many years. I never thought I'd actually be able to interview you or get you on the podcast, and you're just so humble and so kind, and you were just so willing to do it. And I just appreciate just how humble of a human being you are.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your birthday weekend. Happy belated. And it was wonderful. This has been nothing but a pleasure. I could go on for another hour.
We're going to do it again. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we get going?
Just that we've been kind of on a hiatus, like Elias was saying there, but we're gonna be coming back at it strong as soon as we have that music to bring back to people. But yeah, but to thank you to all our fans for being patient with us and sticking with us all these years, and people like you, Sunshine, for listening to the music, and for recognizing our the uniqueness that we've kind of been trying to cultivate.
So you've cultivated it, and I'm your number one fan. So I'm just going ahead and let everybody know. If you do not know, now you know Simpkin Project. Look it up. There is no other band like this band, and there never will be another band like this band. Phil, I appreciate you. Make sure to go follow Simpkin Project on all social media platforms, on Spotify, on all the things. And also, Phil, if somebody was looking to get you for like a guest feature on their album, is that something that you currently do, or how?
We work so slowly. I wish that we would turn you around right away, but yeah, we're always interested in working with artists, and so you can catch us always there. But I'm as simple as Phil Simpkin at Gmail. We even have our Simpkin Project at Gmail.
I'm at Yahoo still, so there's that. I'm still at Yahoo.
And so I'm not as good as I should be, but I will be there looking at all my messages on Instagram and Facebook, and so yeah, I shouldn't be too hard to get a hold of.
Perfect. All right, guys. You already know that I love you all. I appreciate you all so much. You could be anywhere, and you're here with us. Make sure that you're kind to the people around you. You never know what people are going through. Please don't drink and drive. Just be kind. It's not that hard. And until next time, you guys, just keep it real. Be honest. Phil, on 3, we're going to say bye. Are you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye, guys.